at Westside Decorating Center. Good morning to you on a brand new week of Monday, the 19th of May already. And the way it goes this morning, we'll have open phones this hour, whatever you'd like to chat about. Next hour, we will start talking to State Representative Bill Giasciuti, but he'll only be with us for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll have more open phones up till 11. And at 11 o'clock on Focus, we will learn about the Moody Foundation, an event they have coming up. All of that is ahead this morning here on WSGW. Hope you had a great weekend. And, of course, the weather wasn't like it was last Thursday and Friday in the 80s. Instead, we've cooled right off. Be in the 50s and low 60s this week. But that's Michigan. Even though we're supposed to be at 70 degrees, but we'll take what we can take. What can you do about it? I just want to start out with one thought about President Biden. The former president was diagnosed with a very, very aggressive form of prostate cancer, and it has metastasized to the bone. They say there's something in cancer called a Gleason score. He had a Gleason score of 9, 10 being the highest. And what the treatments are, don't know. Don't know what the prognosis is, except that it has metastasized. So I just wanted to say, I don't care what your politics are. I don't care whether you liked him as president or didn't like him as president, thought he was incompetent, whatever. That's done. So my thoughts and prayers go out to Joe Biden and his family and hope for a speedy recovery. Politics aside, folks, there's some things that do surmount politics. So I just thought I wanted to mention that this morning. So let us begin by going to Al in Bay City. Al, good morning.
Yeah, Arthur, want to talk to you about Biden and the past announcements. It's not terrible. Is that right?
Don't know. Not a doctor, and I don't play one on the radio. I do know that it's advanced. It has metastasized, and it is one of the most aggressive forms of prostate cancer. So I'm guessing the treatment will be limited to some degree. But I don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor, and I don't want to play one.
Don't you think that he kind of knew that he had something, and that's why he dropped out of the race?
No.
Because he thought he had some
because he would have because he would have done that sooner if that were the case. That may be true for his mental capacity, but not this. I mean, this is a physical thing, and he would have had to develop some kind of physical symptoms, of which there are probably 8 or 9 of them. So no, I'm not going to go there. I mean, that's all. I sympathize with him. That's all.
Okay, well, I just wondered what your thought about it.
Yep, there you go. All righty. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we'll talk to Paul in Saginaw. Paul, good morning.
Morning, Art. I'll change the subject a little bit. Last night on Channel 49 Church TV, they interviewed a frequent guest on there named Jonathan Cahn, and he's an author of several books. And in the interview, he reported that the word Palestinian actually translates over into English as Philistine. And in the Old Testament, the Philistines lived in the Gaza Strip area. And but when Mark Twain, and they said they've been there for thousands of years, but when Mark Twain visited Israel in the late 1800s, and he visited the whole country, he says there's nobody here and there's nothing here. So
Well,
it makes you wonder.
that's his view.
What's going on.
That was his view relative to his lifestyle.
Well, he says all there was a bunch of a few Bedouin shepherds, and the land was a wasteland at that time.
That he saw back then compared to what he
Right.
knew to be his lifestyle. They've been there for a
don't know
long time. They've
What's
been
that?
there for millenniums. There have been people
Well-
there for a long time. You got to remember that whole area of the world was biblical, wasn't it?
Right.
So maybe
But
he saw a
He
piece of
claimed
it that
there
looked
wasn't
barren.
all these people there that the Palestinians claim that are there.
Maybe
today.
where he was.
And
How
it
do
was
you
only
think?
that one strip of the? It was only that one strip of the country, the Gaza Strip.
So how do you
Philistines
think he
live in.
got around back then to see the whole country?
Well, obviously,
Oop, you're gone. Phone dropped out. Oh, well, I would have been curious as to that answer. I mean, come on. What's the difference anyway? They've been there for millenniums, and the struggles have been millenniums, and we're not going to solve it. Maybe we can make temporary peace right now, and then that conflict as it stands. But do you think that's going to put an end to what goes on in the Middle East? Nah. You can have quiet for a while, and then all of a sudden some groups, jumps up and starts it all over again. It's historic. It fluctuates between enemies, who's fighting who today. But the reality is, it's foolhardy to think you can go in there and wave a wand and solve thousands of years of history. That'd be nice. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see it. But you got to change a lot of minds and hearts. I don't see that happening. Just don't see it happening. Let's talk to Lee in Saginaw. Lee, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How are you doing?
We're doing well. Hope you are.
Yeah, all right. I got a letter, kind of a Dear John letter from the Four Lakes Task Force last week,
Uh-oh. Oh.
and they gave me just my summer thing for the dam repairs is $33,500.
Whoa. Now, is that assessment that's going to be paid over a number of years? Or did they
Yep.
send you a bill for $33,000?
No, it's just a letter stating that that's an assessment.
That's your assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be paid. You can pay it up front or pay it over 40 years.
40 years.
And I figured that out, and that's about $1,000 more a month on my property taxes.
Yeah.
And then they said there could be a winter one too.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Over and above the 33?
Yep.
See, here's what I have said all along, and if you've listened to me at all, to me, that assessment is like kicking somebody when they're down.
Exactly.
You already lost your property or had damage to your property, which you had to take care of, and probably, even if you had flood insurance, probably didn't cover all of it. And now they're going to hit you again. And I just, to me, it was unconscionable, but who am I? I don't own property there. I don't have a horse in the race. But I feel sorry for those of you that do.
Well, luckily, we didn't lose anything but a paddle boat, and I don't know where that ended up. But
It
but
paddled
still,
down the dam, yeah.
We've had this since my boy was 2, and he's going to be 40 at this place. And we've, done work on it here and there, and it turned out to a house instead of a cabin. But the thing that is it's our second house, so we can't claim it as homestead
Yep,
either.
you can't. That's right.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that you have to look at, and I don't know the legalities of it. I'm not a lawyer. Don't want to play one on the radio. But if I were in that situation, I would have to compare my taxes on my homestead and my second home and see if I wanted to reverse positions
Yeah.
and make one my homestead and the other one my second house. I don't know. I again, I'm not in that position, so I can't
Yeah.
determine it. But
Well-
that would be what I would do anyway.
The cabin property is like 85 foot of frontage on the lake and 120 feet deep.
Wow.
My homestead is on 15 acres. I've got twice the size of a house there, twice the size of a garage, and I've got horses there with a riding arena and another barn for machinery and another barn for tools and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I pay $50 less on the homestead than I do on the cabin.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I don't know. And I see Venn Johnson Law Firm is going to have a rally in Midland, I think today, calling on the state to stop stalling and do what they need to do. The whole thing, I mean, to me, this was a no-win situation for the homeowners in the area. And it's not a win for the state either, because they have proven themselves to be very adept at stall and delay. I feel sorry for you folks. I really do. I mean, and I've said that from the beginning. And I understand, because a lot of people do not have that same sympathy because they figure, oh, look, lakefront owners, they want to be on the lakefront, they have to pay for it and all that stuff. To me, people are human.
Right.
And even though you may be able to afford a lakefront home and you've spent a lot of time and sweat equity building it, you don't deserve to be kicked in the face when you're down. And I just think that's what happened.
Yeah. And even some people that aren't on the lake, that are on the other side of the road from, they have to pay, but it's not as much, of course.
Yeah.
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 And the whole thing, I don't know, the state, I think, is somewhat involved in it because Nestle was the one that put a court order in for them to close the dams for the freshwater mussel.
Well, I think the state has culpability. Don't get me wrong. All I'm saying is they've delayed and delayed and delayed because they don't want to admit their responsibility.
Right.
And, and Ben Johnson's going to keep after them. But
Well,
how much success is going to be, I don't know.
I know. It's hard to fight City Hall, right?
Unfortunately, that's a truism. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
listen, I wish you well.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
you take care.
Lee, thanks for
Bye.
calling. I appreciate it. Thanks for the info.
Thanks.
Bye-bye now.
Yep, take care. Bye.
All right, lines open 989-752-6111. And, let me talk to you about McDonald Ford in Freeland, because right now is an ideal time to get a new car at McDonald Ford because, it's hard to find things made in America, but not true with Ford. And with the uncertainty of tariffs, it's even more important. And McDonald Ford anticipated that. So they have stocked their lot with tariff-free vehicles, and they have many more en route. And not only are they tariff-free, but Ford is offering employee pricing for everyone, and they've extended that through July 6th. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means you, as a non-Ford employee, average customer, pay the same price as Ford employees do. In addition, let's say you're a Chrysler or import buyer, but now you're considering a Ford. You're going to get that lowest price just like everybody else. And Chevy truck buyers. Now maybe you can get into a Ford F-150, the best-selling pickup in America, also at employee pricing. So you see, now is the right time to visit McDonald Ford M47 in Freeland for the best selection and the lowest possible price. Don't let tariffs prevent you from getting the vehicle of your choice at a price you can afford. Visit McDonald Ford in Freeland today. Remember, tariff-free and employee pricing for everyone.
Did you know you can bring the
All right, we're back with you here at WSGW on this Monday morning. Open phones at 989-752-6111. After some serious hardline negotiations by the Republicans yesterday, Trump tax bill passed a key U.S. House committee vote with some of the objectors voting present rather than no, and that allowed it to pass in a 17-16 votes. All Democrats voted against it. The hardliners want a deeper cut. I can't say that I favor that. It's already estimated that if this passes, the House, Senate, and the President signs it, it tentatively could add anywhere from $3 to $5 trillion to the national debt, which is already 134% of GDP. And what does that mean? Well, 134% of GDP in any other world, you'd be bankrupt. But in our world, because we own as a country so much land, all of the national parks, federal protected land, what have you, the value of that land is enough to keep us out of bankruptcy because it has tremendous value. And the country has reasonably good income so that we're able to at least pay the interest on the debt, which is ridiculous right now. I have mixed feelings on it because on the one hand, I do think it is good to have a tax cut. And I do think that it will spur some growth in the economy. I'm not a big fan of adding to the debt any more than we have. And you have to remember this, not only does this add to it, but the deficit of the budget adds to the debt. That's what the debt is. It's an accumulation of all the deficits. And if you're any place but Washington, D.C., you can't live like that. Everybody else has to live with a budget. Every state has balanced budgets. Now, yeah, they have debt that goes with it because they bond things and stuff like that. But the reality is their budgets are balanced. They don't add to the debt of the state because of insufficiencies in income versus expenses. Only the federal government, which also happens to control the printing presses, does that. And you may wonder why the country seems to be insensitive to it. Well, I can tell you why. Because the government tells us that for every man, woman, and child in the country, we owe X thousands of dollars. If we wanted to pay off the national debt today, here's what it would cost us. But we all know that's not going to happen. So it's one of those, it doesn't affect me syndromes. Okay, government, you tell me I owe, I'm going to pick a number out of the air. You tell me I owe $50,000. Well, guess what? I'm not taking $50,000 out of my pocket. You haven't asked for it, and you're not going to ask for it. So it doesn't affect me. Now, in some ways it could, because if they have to print money to cover the debt and the interest, that causes inflation. And what does inflation do? It takes money out of our pocket. So in a way, it's foolhardy to say, well, I'm not paying for it today. No, of course you're not, but you're paying for it. Remember this. Government doesn't have any money other than what you give it unless they print it. If they print it, it costs us all. But other than that, government has no money other than what you give it. Now, you may hear the word tariff and everybody's paying for that and this. Well, guess who's paying for the tariffs? We are, and the products we buy. Companies should pay higher taxes. Okay, fine. Guess who pays for that? We do, and the products and services we buy. Nothing happens if we don't buy it. And if we don't pay our taxes, they don't have any money. So never think that simply because they say, well, it's $50,000, but it doesn't affect you right now. It does. it is important that we somehow figure out how to get this country back into a stable financial position where we can start paying off that debt and using that money for other purposes in this country. Wouldn't that be nice? We'll take a break, come back, get to more phone calls right after these notes. With you on the Art Lewis Show, open phones this hour, and let us continue on with that theme and head out to Sheridan and talk to Carol this morning. Carol, good morning.
Good morning. Our hot weather's got cold.
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to Michigan.
You know, we didn't need any more storms anyway.
No.
Hey, I missed it. I was in the bathtub, so you looked up how much taxes Mr. Trump paid, right?
No, didn't find it.
You can't find it?
No, I did. I did not look. Let me hang on a second.
Okay.
Just
I'd love to know.
Yeah, well, hang on a second here. If it's here, and I don't guarantee it is.
I bet it ain't.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. How much tax? Let's see.
You want me to keep talking while you're hunting?
Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right. So let's see, and I don't know which one. This one is portions of a 2005 tax return in which he paid about $38 million in tax. Effective tax rate of 25%. At that time, that was 2005.
That was a long time ago, honey.
That was a long time ago, and that's $38 million a long time ago is what today? That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we can find here. Don't see that.
And that was, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it supposed to be public record what the president pays taxes? I always thought it was.
Well, they've done that. I don't know that it's required legally, but they did it. I don't see more recent. Well, wait a minute. Wait.
Oh.
Wait.
Wait. Don't get me hurry.
Don't. No, I can't see it because it's one of these pay up or you can't read it accounts.
Oh, you got to pay $30 million to find out what it was?
Yeah, something like that. Let's see here. Here's another one. This is. Wow.
Yeah.
In his presidential years.
Uh-huh.
In his presidential years, he paid a total of $1,500 in income tax for 2016 and 17. Now, that would be on his presidential income less deductions and stuff, because everything else would have been put into the trust that he didn't have, so he wouldn't have earned income on that.
Now, Largo should have some pretty good property taxes, too.
Well, that's property tax. That won't show here.
Okay.
That's separate. That's a separate issue altogether.
Okay.
That would be paid by, I'm sure all of those, I don't know for sure, but I would think all of those individual properties are their own companies, their own corporations. So they would pay tax per se. So anyway.
So anyway, it ain't there.
It ain't there. Not recent.
Well, when you find out, you let me know, will you?
Yeah, all right. Don't lose any sleep over
it. Well, you do kind of wonder, they make all these millions and things, and I usually remember, the presidents, they say how much they paid and, how much they donated to
normally,
charity
yep.
and stuff. But this is not normal, right?
No, nothing he does is.
Okay, thank you for that. Have a good day. Don't lose any sleep over it.
No,
You'll
don't lose
be
any
up all
sleep
day
over
trying
it,
to find
Carol. That's it. All right, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye
Thank
now.
you.
Anyway, let's see, 9:46 here on WSGW. So the lines are open for you. And again, 989-752-6111. Jot it down. Don't lose it. Give us a call and chat with us here on the Art Lewis Show. Not everybody has passed along those increases. Now, I think it was Walmart's been talking about the possibility of a price increase, but they have not yet raised their prices. So if you go to Walmart today and you buy something, you're not paying the increased tariff on it.
Yeah, but how's the government getting it if Walmart's paying for it and eating the price?
Well, the government's collecting it on import.
Then Walmart's got to buy the stuff from the government?
Walmart, no. Walmart buys the stuff from the factory. Okay?
Okay.
And included in what they pay is that tariff. And when the goods come in the country, that money is given to the government, the tariff money. Walmart then decides whether to pass that on to you or eat it. In some cases, companies have been eating all or part of it. In other cases, they haven't. Prices go up.
Right. Okay, that was what I had. I couldn't understand how the government's getting it when I know, like, Walmart's buying it.
That's how. It's all part of the. It's all part of the international trade, and it's any way you look at it. And here's the way I look at it, Rick. If it comes out of my pocket and eventually ends up in the government pocket through tariff or however, to me, it's a tax.
You're right.
If I take it out of my pocket and the government ends up with it, it's a tax. That's the way I look at it. They can call it what they want, like fees. No. Comes out of my pocket, goes in theirs, it's a tax.
Right. I agree with that. Okay, that was my question. All
right, Rich, thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now. I don't think, at least at the moment, while the tariffs have made big splashes in the news and certainly in the beginning impacted the stock market to record drops, it's recovered fairly nicely. And I don't think yet we're feeling the significance of the tariffs, because I think what's happened is maybe exactly what Trump wanted to happen, and that is after he poked all these bears around the world, they've come to the table, and many of them are negotiating better deals. And now it appears that we're talking to China. And let's face it, we were taken advantage of for a long time. The president was absolutely right there. Was he right in the way he went about it, how big his tariffs were and all that stuff? I'm not an economist. I can't tell you that. I like the idea that he's trying to do something to bring our trade into balance. I'm not expert enough to tell you if it was exactly the right way or not. But I also know that that's the way he does things a lot of times. He goes out on an extreme and then negotiates back to where he wants to end up. If it works, he gets the credit. If it fails, he gets the blame. And that's the way the system is. But a lot of it is us, we the people, panicking simply because the news media